Two of El Paso's largest school districts are facing the same problem, and they're going to the same consultant for help. ABC7's Ashley Rodriguez is live with tonight's special report.
Estella, although the situations are similar, the way the districts are dealing with declining enrollment is different. The EPISD and YISD both thrived for decades, but now their neighborhoods are filled with retirees, many students now adults. Younger families are moving to cheaper housing in the Canutillo district on the west side and Socorro ISD on the east side. With no room for El Paso or Isleta to expand in the inner city, enrollment is shrinking. Both have tens of thousands of empty seats. EPISD is only 76% full, Isleta is at 72%. And the old buildings that remain need major repairs and upgrades.
If people no longer live in neighborhoods, you can't have schools there. If people are moving to other neighborhoods, you need to rebuild those schools to support more kids.
We are facing a number of challenges, so it's not enough to go out and paint, or I think one of the politicians once said, put lipstick on a pig. That's not going to help our students. We need to reinvent this school district.
141,000.
Both EP and YISD hired the same consultants, the Jacobs Engineering Group, to analyze facilities.
Where kids are leaving or living, what schools they're attending, in-district transfers.
We have a lot of schools that were built in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
Isleta, with 60 schools and 42,000 students, paid Jacobs about $500,000. It also paid another company $70 grand for a demographic study. El Paso paid $1.3 million to Jacobs for everything. With 93 schools, it has 59,000 students. It paid nearly 135% more than YISD. Superintendent Cabrera says that's because he wanted an in-depth look at each school's roof condition and HVAC cooling systems. And
we actually paid about $100,000 for them to manage the steering committee process.
EPISD had 75 community reps weigh in. YISD had 49, 7 people from each feeder pattern. Then EPISD used the meetings to create the plan. What'd you think?
They have some good points.
That's $12 million.
YISD went to the community to present the plan. The difference? Jacobs collected EPISD's feedback from parents to include in their final report to the board.
Closing schools is difficult. Nobody wants to close their school.
Does this manifest destiny?
Superintendent De La Torre sold the Jacobs report and his vision to the community himself. He was at all 7 meetings.
And it was also important to have a two-way dialogue.
Cabrera was not. He used technology to broaden feedback through online services. Cabrera says he let the community lead the decision-making process at 5 community meetings, with him in the background.
I think given the recent history of EPISD and some complaints about lack of transparency, we didn't feel that it was good to go straight from Jacobs to the board. We felt it was better to go from Jacobs to a steering committee and then to the board to have another layer of community input.
Cabrera told me this feedback will influence the board's final decision.
Discussing a significant investment.
De La Torre says he is steering the decision-making process, but YISD residents still have the chance to say yes or no. Taxpayers will vote up or down in a May bond election if they want to invest upwards of $300 million in recommended changes.
The public, our constituents, our parents need to understand that I expect to be held accountable.
For EPISD, there is no date set for the bond election. This month, the Board of Managers is supposed to approve the recommendations and whether or not to send an $850 million bill to taxpayers in 3 separate bond elections from now until 2021. Estella?
Okay, thank you for that special report, Ashley.